For whatever reason, Minnesota has a reputation of being a boring state with cold winters, and we definitely don't get the respect that we deserve. So in this video, I'm going to be giving you guys 7 Minnesota inventions that you can't live without. But make sure you stay till the end of the video because number 7 is one that you literally can't live without. Okay, so let's start off strong with number 1. Grocery bags with handles. Now, this is one invention that you probably take for granted, but if you're like me and every other man in America, when I bring in the groceries in the house, there is no way I'm making more than one trip, so I usually will have grocery bags all the way up to my elbows on each finger. Leave a comment below if you do the same thing. But speaking of that, grocery bags with handles were invented by a grocer named Walter this guy. In 1912 as a way to allow customers like me to buy more groceries at once. Super simple invention. Super simple. Damn, I do. Them S's, boy. Moving on to number 2. Post-it notes. Post-it notes were invented by the Fortune 500 company 3M, which is headquartered here in Maplewood, Minnesota in the 1970s. Now, I don't know about you, but I personally keep a stack of Post-it notes on my desk and I'm constantly using them to remind me to do things, which usually ends up with half my desk being filled with them, but they are very convenient just to throw away whenever you're done with them, as long as you actually do what's on them. But other notable inventions by 3M are adhesive tape and sandpaper. Now, for all you candy lovers out there, specifically candy bars, the third Minnesota invention is the Milky Way Candy Bar. Now, the Milky Way Candy Bar was made in Minneapolis in 1922 by the father and son duo Frank and Forrest Mars of the Mars Company and was designed to taste just like a milkshake in candy bar form.
Candy on Earth comes from Mars, Milky Way.
Now, the Milky Way, when it came out, and it still is the best-selling candy bar in the world. Now, if that wasn't enough for you, the Mars Company is also responsible for many other favorites, like the Snickers, the Three Musketeers, the M&Ms, and others, just to name a few. Now, the Mars Corporation has since moved its headquarters to Virginia, but both founders, Frank and Forrest Mars, were from Minnesota, making all of your favorite Halloween candy being born from Minnesota roots. Okay, so before I give you guys number 4, let me just set the mood real quick. So it's a Saturday night and you've been working hard all week. You just want to sit in the house and relax. You put your pajamas on, you lay on the couch and decide you want to watch a new movie that just came out on Netflix. But wait, you're missing something. Oh, popcorn. Well, microwave popcorn to be exact. The first microwave popcorn was created by Pillsbury, another Minnesota company, in 1981 and actually needed to be refrigerated because it had perishable butter in it. It wasn't until 1984 that a shelf version became available. Now, you would think that microwave popcorn blew up in popularity because people liked watching movies at home, but it actually got so popular because of it being such a low-calorie snack. Apparently, there was a big fitness boom or something like that in the 80s. Moving on to number 5. In full disclosure, I probably could live without these, but I still thought it was pretty interesting. Rollerblades. Now, most people know that Minnesota winters get pretty cold, meaning that winter sports here are pretty popular, particularly hockey. So 2 teenage Minneapolis hockey players in the 80s were looking for a way for their team to stay in shape during the off-season, so they came up with the idea of rollerblades in the basement of their house after being inspired by the roller skate. All right, so we have a couple more left, and I would assume that if you're still watching right now that you're finding this video somewhat interesting. So if that is the case, make sure to hit that like button for me so I know that this video doesn't suck. Number 6. Now, if you like toast for breakfast, toaster strudel, toasted bagels, toasted English muffins, Eggo waffles, etc., then you clearly can't live without the pop-up toaster. Now, the first pop-up toaster was invented in 1919 by a Minnesota mechanic named Charles Strite and was originally designed to be used for restaurants. Now, in 1926, a redesigned version of the toaster was made for households and had features like browning the bread on both sides at the same time, being able to set the heat you wanted it at, and ejecting the toast automatically when it was finished. I bet you that was like a new iPhone release for people back then. And finally, what you've all been waiting for, number 7. The Minnesota invention that you literally can't live without. The first battery-operated pacemaker. Now, while Minnesota is not responsible for inventing the pacemaker in general, the first iteration of the pacemakers were very large and required to be plugged into a wall in order to be powered, meaning that if the power went out, so did the pacemaker. Also, because they were so large, they took up a lot of space and were very hard to move around with patients. In 1958, Minnesota native Earl Bakken, aka the founder of the largest medical device company in the world, Medtronic, created the battery-powered pacemaker that was also the size of only a couple deck of cards. Now, after hearing all that, do you really still think Minnesota's that boring? Now, if you want to know more fun facts about Minnesota, then you should watch this video next.